Good afternoon. How are you? Well, it's a pretty nice day. It's about 57 degrees, humidity 33%, and the wind is 4 miles an hour. So that's a good day. I was somewhat distracted from the work I was doing today because I had in the background what was going on. And what was going on was in several directions. But the one that caught my attention was the press conference in which Trump is basically saying, we did a good job, that kind of stuff happens, talking about the chat that was open to a journalist about a war strike in Yemen and the accidentally interloping journalist realized it wasn't a joke but was real, and someone had mistakenly put me in the grouping, and he realized this when he saw in real time that event did happen in Yemen. He should have never known about it, but through no fault of his own, he was added to that chat group and heard them talking. And if you've seen any of his interviews, he thought at first it must be a joke, and when he found out it wasn't, then he withdrew because he never should have been present. And he shouldn't have been present because what was going on is supposed to be classified. It's supposed to be secret. It's supposed to be secret to protect people and to protect the operation. The violation of these procedures is a big deal. So when you're appointing people that don't know shit about how to engage in real time on the several levels required, from the implementation of a plan down to how you talk about it, secretly, quietly, privately, that's really critically important. I have joked for some time that the last words I'll hear on this planet will be, oops. And we have plenty of data points to support the notion that that's exactly what could happen. Of course, it was instantaneous. That could be a blessed severance of the tie of the coil of life. But let's talk about what Trump was doing today. Trump attacked the reporter as if it was his fault that somebody put him in this communication. And then he ran down the Atlantic magazine, which is an outstanding magazine, and ran down the reporter, who's a prize-winning reporter, and a person who quite responsibly discussed these trials and tribulations in foreign affairs and military matters over some period of time. When Trump was asked, was anybody going to be punished? No, it happens. He's a good guy. That's what No, he's not a good guy. This is not a question of, it's probably not a question of intent. He was ignorant. He was reckless. He was neglecting of his job. And this happened. And then Trump is asked, if he's going to use the same software that was used in this incident. I don't know, we're looking into it. Everybody on the planet knows that's not what they should be using. And Trump is talking sort of like a situation ethics guy. It'd be nice if we could get into a place that nobody could hear, but, we deal with what you got. Well, there's no reason why they couldn't have done that. That they should have done that. Given it's a fairly explosive area of the world, and to be effective in terms of a deterrence, it had to be spot on right. This is worse than the gang that can't shoot straight. This is the gang that shoots at everything. Shoots off its mouth, acts without thought, and then doesn't admit that they failed. Wouldn't a real leader have said, this is a terrible event, so-and-so's on probation or fired, which is what they should have done. Because, I know the guy, he's really a good guy, but he messed up, so he's gone. But you see, when the standard for this administration is placeholders to destroy the entire government, apparently including the defense. We don't care if these people know what the hell they're doing. And we should. And this is the danger of firing people. You're firing people who have an expertise, who know how this is done. But we're not working that way. We're not doing that. Okay, so that's one side of our troubles. Another one that I think probably leaped out at anyone because so many are involved is Social Security. There have been reports for days that the way they were going to hurt Social Security was to mess up the computers, which can take forever to get through. And we may be talking about a group of people that are not as comfortable with computers as is necessary to communicate in that way. Now, I may be older, but I've played with these machines since I was in high school, actually, programming key punch cards for Fortran, COBOL, wiring boards, machine language, all that stuff when I was younger. And the System 370 from IBM. And some other computers after that. But wow, now you're lucky if you can figure out a metaphor. But that's what the government's insisting. Not that they be able to program, but they be able to maneuver the tables on Social Security that act as a substitute for going to a physical building. But here's the other problem. The physical building, people are online all the way around the block. And some of these people don't move so well. It's part of our ageism that we don't give a damn that we have a problem of access to the government. And access is a spin-off of the First Amendment. Access to the government. Government voted a benefit. These people, that is Trump and his minions, are trying to curtail that benefit, perhaps to the people who need it the most. Social Security, social chaos, asocial programs, children throwing some kid in a schoolyard his hat back and forth, laughing as he can't get to the place to get the hat. We have a government that's amused by the suffering people have. Don't mark my words, these people are Republicans and Democrats and independents. They have every shape and every kind of interest you can imagine. And it's just one of the core responsibilities of our government. It's really something that we had a president who believed in the four freedoms and passed Social Security, and we have people today that don't appreciate it. Of course, if you were a billionaire and walked out of your house and decided, I want that $10 million car, you could have it. Look at how Elon Musk wanders around throwing money everywhere. He doesn't care if he cuts Social Security. There will be people in the streets with walkers and pitchforks. This is not an exaggeration. That's exactly what's going to happen. And there was talk today among the Democrats attacking this failure to secure that benefit. And they were getting yielding assurances that people on Social Security would have access. We'll wait and see. The problems are legion, and I think I've mentioned that on Friday I'm going to be part of a panel in a local town meeting, Resist, and Appear. And I may have said this before, I don't know if there'll be 700 or 700 or more. But the interesting thing about this exercise is, and I really don't know what my role is, I'm one of several people who'll be speaking. And the thing's going to go on from 6:30 to 9. I think after short presentations to hear what the questions are from the people and to answer them as best we can. And in that regard, what are the answers? And the answers are the same that I've given here, which is show up, knock on doors if you can, send some money to ACLU, AARP, talk to your neighbors and friends, talk to the Republicans that didn't lose their brains and know that they're as much a victim of these craven policies as anyone else. Craven because I'm going to take away the benefits that you saved your entire life and spent it forward for those ahead of you in age so that they could have a decent, secure life when they could be less productive in the workforce or not at all. This is the standard of a civilization that matters. And the standard of a civilization is how we treat our own. And we're not doing very well right now. And that anybody could stand up and say that Trump even approximated any aspect of the traditional American values, promises, and dreams is a liar like he is. No other choice. So, I had those couple of things on my mind, and there are other things, but I offer them up as a meditation when you're looking for what you can do. There are no innocent bystanders in these times. It is true of this election, like no other in my lifetime, that this one was critically important for us. And the nation made the wrong choice. Ironically disbelieved the accusations that what we're suffering is what we would suffer and have and will if we don't stop it. Trump and company are dug in. They lie about their own screw-ups. They lie about the people who point fingers at them. Even lies about pictures. What person would not just look at the picture and say to themselves, well, I don't know if I look like that, and move on? How many pictures do we take in which if we don't have a veto power, we cringe when we see it online or on a wall or something like that? Age introduces us to honesty, authenticity. There's nowhere to hide. You are, who you've been, and you're continuing to knit the life together that follows upon what you've done already. And if you believe that you were here for some purpose, part of it must be fighting those who would compromise our freedom, who would take it away, who would dictate to us what we can and can't do and how we must do it and how we must speak. It's not acceptable. And we have to say that. And town meetings are one way, but there are more, and we'll just keep discussing them. So that's what I have to say on the Cathedral of Trees. More green, more animals. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.